Now, waiting for everybody to come in. Share this out. So, let you know I'm going to have an announcement to make about changes to this channel and all that. One, I will remove and start removing and banning people who start causing drama in my live streams, even if you're a mod or not. I don't like banning people. This place is supposed to be neutral, drama free. I already banned several people who was drama, and I don't want to ban anymore. Second, I cut ties with G. Why? I don't agree with everything he does. I don't like the way he attacks people. I try to help him, be nice to him, and show him what to be, do what's right. The last straw, he attacked 3 of my friends. Adventures with Beth, um, Jenny Love, who I think of as my sister, and PDX Paranormal, Emmy. We've been working together to try and stop these trolls, even on his own live. Hi, Horror. So, that said, I don't want anything to do with G. I wanted to help him as a friend. And other people wanted to help him too. And he pushed us, all of us, aside for his anger and rant and all that. Thank you, Horror. That's why I don't want nothing to do with him for right now. I want him to learn how to not do these live streams and all that. I don't say very bad things about people. And I bet in half an hour he's going to start raging on me. Nobody doesn't deserve this. like I post on my community tab, if you start wondering why you're losing friends, you have to look in the mirror. Hi, Colleen. You have to look into the mirror and look at yourself and ask you that. Why am I losing the friends? Is it the way my actions are and my what I said? And I want G to think deeply and hardly. Think hard and deeply on this. Why are people are turning their backs on him? And I wanted to help G all this time to get him to be better than who he is. I know he has good in his heart. He needs to look deep into it and see that goodness. We don't want any more drama. And he keeps bringing these dramas everywhere. And that's it. I'm not going to speak on this issue anymore. And I'm going to do my presentation of my research on the Hinsdale House. Now, thank you, Pam. Yeah, you're right. And that's why I'm going to let it go after tonight. I'm not going to touch on this anymore. Now, the presentation about the Hinsdale House, what about my research? There, okay, let me see. Whoops. Hinsdale. Hey, hi, James. Now, the Hinsdale House, I've been looking at this and the history of that place. Let me see. The Hinsdale House been there for a long time, before 1970s. It got notoriety in a book called Echoes of a Haunted. Claire and Phil Dandy lived in the house along with their children in the early 1970s. During their time there, they were visited by many spirits. A priest from St. Bonaventure University was at the house more than once to perform an exorcism, which worked for a while, but as time went by, the Dandy family lost the battle and ended up leaving the house for good. I'm on Facebook. From what I understand, I don't think it was a demon spirit that they were battling with. Hi, Beth. What some of us saw in the live stream that I won't name, some people think it's a Ordag or Ordog, excuse me, shapeshifted demon who controls the evil and dark forces in the world. According to the Hungarian beliefs, a magical tree of life connects the 3 levels of the world. Various beings reside in these different realms. Sky spirits live in the heavenly sphere. Ordinary people live in their homes in the middle earth, and the lower world below the ground is inhabited by chthonic spirits. And sometimes the Ordog is similar to Krampus. But from it said that connected to the tree, on the roots of the tree. Ordog is an evil creature that resides in a horrible and frightening underground world where he collects human souls that nourish him. His realm is similar to the Christian version of hell where sinners are sent. And it's a old pagan belief back in the old times. But as I begin to look at some of these things, and I think it's hi J Mac, and what I saw in that place, it may not be hi Pearl, it may not be a demon at all. The 4 elemental beings of Earth, according to Paracelsus, pagan mythology could keep a magic cartography of our relations to nature. You have the structure, natural order, gnomes, which is the earth, which could be pogrogy, dryads, you name it. Those type of elemental. Undines is water. Could be water dragons or fish or mermaids, nymphs. Fire could be for salamanders, the phoenix, dragons, basilisk type deal, and stealth, which is air, which could be genes or genies or pixies, fairies, things like that. Man's number is 5, and in him the presence of the fifth element intervenes, usually assigned to either as a psychic substance that extends paralytic and material evolution. Okay. and and from what I could tell, the if you get elementals mad, they could be chaotic and ship safe as well. It's probably what. Yeah, it's probably the earth. Tree elementals. Hi, Roger. The tree elementals are like the There's also called tree ants, intimentals, or ants call them. They usually serve shelter for life and death. And if a tree elemental tree is damaged or destroyed, it gets really angry. Yeah, it gets angry, doesn't it, Beth? And it just does and it does get mad and all that. So what we probably saw in there in the Hinsdale house that night was in elemental elemental like a tree ant. Could be a dryad. It could be one of those things that I talk about. And they said that demons attack. And they said that about demons if they attack about demons in that house and everything. Here's a Can demons cause disasters and accidents? if if demons had the freedom, this is from Father Forti. If demons had the freedom to cause natural disasters, the whole world would fall into chaos. So the short answer is no. Demons cannot cause disasters and accidents at will. Why? Simply because God prevents them from doing so. So so there's the answer. Yeah, but I haven't. Storms, hurricanes, earthquakes, and other disasters ordinarily happen as a result of natural causes. Nonetheless, the book of Revelation does teach us that God at the end of time will allow a freer manifestation of the power of demons. But I think another I don't think demons are the ones that could cause national could cause nature. The elementals who are not associated with as being demons, they're they are nature spirits mostly, and some of them can be tricksters like gnomes and hobgoblins and pukwudgies and all that. Dark entities are present, right? Um, Dark entities at the Hinsdale House, yes, but they may not be demons. It could be trickster spirits that want you to think they're demons, or it could be like one of these fae folks, like gnomes and them. And the answer to that question at the Hinsdale House, if they cleanse it 3 times and still the demons didn't leave, it may not have been a demon. It could have been an angry elemental spirit, like an earth spirit, with years of build up anger. And the question that we have about the Hinsdale house is, could the what what's drawn all the spirits to go there? As yeah, right, Beth. I and I don't think there was a demon there at all. It could be a revengeful spirit and all that. Yeah, that what you hit on the nail, Pearl. And angry spirit could be the one that's doing it too. So that comes up to the next thing. This is from the obscure case book, Hinsdale Haunteds. It was written by Cassidy Nicholas in 2017. He did a study of the history of the Hinsdale haunted in the house, for the Hinsdale house. He did a lot of research. He did a lot of research on the house, which could explain what is going on there. What is it going to be? Well, the history, it depends on what was told to all the investigators. And he kind of discounts some of the things. In Claire Dandy's book, and the Claire Dandy's book that she wrote, she talked about she had the priest to exorcism 3 times. And he talked to Catholic priests in the area and talked to others. And they said there was they don't usually do exorcism on buildings and that. They only do cleansing. So that's one thing that was wrong. Hi, Russian soldier. That's one thing that was dispelled in Loomer. Let's see. There are homes of this area of the land have Native American tribes in that area, and there's usually some native burial grounds around there. They don't know for sure if it's if there is a burial ground where Hinsdale House is sitting on. It could be other places. There is near the Cuba, New York area, the village of Dripping Oil. I can't pronounce the Native American name. Or Oil Spring Village can be noted seated near the Tarkarnomsky or Oil Creek and Jagohaki G place of heron or a place of heron or Black Creek. There was the Ganos, which refers to the Seneca oil spring, said to be discovered in 1627 by Franciscan missionary Joseph de la Roche de Al. I'm sorry, I butchered these names. The spring was highly used prior to the Native Americans as they felt it was a place of ultimate healing. According to the research, our Iroquois villages could spang up, probably be sprung up to 8 miles. It is not unlikely that Pequarnots extended through the valley that is currently New York Route 446 addresses the area of current Hinsdale, New York Valley. Several mounds can be noted in the area. For example, there is a burial mound inside the Forness Park in Olean, New York. This mound is very close to the settlement Hinsdale or Olean that was seated where the Ohio, the Beautiful River, or Allegheny River and Assateague Creek interested. So, Hinsdale Mound is one of the many that were noted and recognized throughout western New York. Other notable mounds can be found locally in the township of Allegheny, Olean, Cone, Rigo, and Randolph. Take care to note that there are several mounds throughout western New York and stemming south throughout the country. Hi, Vinny. Thank you. We'll help you, Vinny. Don't give up. We'll get you to it. The rumors of a ceased burial and several mounds have swirled for several years since a quote by a local was published in the newspaper. Countless historians have attempted to combat this rumor, but despite efforts, it continues to breathe life. As recent as 2016, publications are still regurgitating the false stories that the house was built over 800 Native American graves at the site of a horrific massacre. So this is the part. Yeah, from what others, this is the start of where I'm beginning to think there's a portal or something that's drawing all those spirits to that house. There was something in somebody was some people were doing the Estes called the answer a massacre, burial, and all that. So if there's lots of spirits there, it could be the house could be a magnet for. You don't have to leave, Fanny. It don't have to be what I'm saying is that the house is like a magnet to draw spirits to. Why is that? Could it be a safe place? They think it's a safe place. Maybe the elementals helping them out. That earth elemental making it the house be safe. We don't know. Rumors are still far as recent of 2016. The hot ticket to investigate to supernatural in the place of horror is the in thing. The Senecas and elders from several tribes have been informed of not only the mound claims but the massacre claims as well. To add, they are also aware that these are false history and their people in claims to a sacred place being used to commercialize ghost hunting. As one can imagine, they are disgusted. The historic host stems from a newspaper article published by the Patriot Free Press September 15, 2009. Here's the review article below. Paranormal investigator Father Michael Rambacher began the morning filming with a brief history in 1737. With the brief history in 1737, local Native Americans who were part of the 7 tribes of the Iroquois Confederation, the Senecas, sent a proclamation to Alexander Hamilton of the Continental Congress stating that they were actively opposed to the formation of the United States. At that time, there were 4 other villages in the Iroquois Confederation who would not sign the proclamation. According to Rambacher, the Iroquois Confederation became upset and ordered these villages destroyed. During the campaign, over 800 men, women, and children were killed in the area that is now Main Street, Hinsdale. Rambacher went on to state that those casualties are what laid the groundwork for spirit disturbances in the Hinsdale area. Rambacher told participants that ancient burial grounds lie within 250 feet of the Hinsdale house. He discovered them 9 years ago, but he had not been back since. So, the story of the Native American massacre is kind of falsifying for a bit. When they debunked the claims, it continued. And the author also traveled to St. Bonaventure to review the father Alphonsus Arcite. In his research, he located a typed copy of the deed action on the property owned by Clara M. Miller and husband Phil Dandy. This was sent to Trumbull by an associate. At the time, this was liquid go to me as a researcher or whatever to him. Here's the type deal. It is the who was owned the property when it was first built. Russell K. and Emily Lefevre to Elgin S. Edwards. E. Edwards to widow Marty Edwards and next of kin, Perrin Edwards' son, Ira Edwards, Orson Edwards, Hattie Woodward, Anne Edwards, Alice Edwards' son's widow, Florence Edwards' granddaughter, 8 years old, 12, 1911. Mattie Edwards to Perrin Edwards for $400 on the 12th. Deeded to Dennis and Florence McMahon, 2/3/1912. Michael McMahon to Catherine McMahon, 12/22/1902. Catherine McMahon's will to John and Dennis McMahon, 2/22/04. John and Elizabeth McMahon to Dennis McMahon, 4/20/2012. Or 1912 or 2004 or whatever. Dennis McMahon to widow Florence McMahon and next of kin, John McMahon's son, Guthrie McMahon, daughter, Margaret O'Brien, daughter, Elizabeth Raleigh, daughter, 11/13/50, deeded to kin and Donna Wise, 10/9/69. The deed church was proved in good faith, but a horrific accident happened. Father Alphonsus' associate located the wrong McMahon family in the deed line. Parcels were much larger in the early days of the region. Several deeds were quick claimed and passed quickly to ensure easements for farming. Perrin and Ira Edwards' Adventures West followed the 1862 Homestead Act, which also didn't agree with the paperwork. So, hi Gabriel. So what he crossed out here is the deed for a completely different property. This was an era which was easy to do. This was before the era of computerized information. It was not done purposely. This very deed research done in the mid 1970s had birthed a plethora of issues. And he went into dive into the mistakes and complications from it. He began with the year 1813 and Lewis Wood settled in the area known as Hinsdale, New York, followed by his brother Relock 7 years later. Relock Wood settled on 100 acres in Township 3, Range 3, near the first sawmill that was erected in 1814, owned by Emery H. Sr. Relock would come to settle in the area very near to Yates. His brother, Colonel Emery Wood follow residency in Hinsdale in 1870. By the year 1830, Wheelock Wood owned 249 acres, living well, farming, and running a tannery business and building a house that is no longer standing but was south of the current homestead viewed today. Both Emery and Wheelock Wood were veterans of the War of 1812. In the year 1853, two brothers purchased properties from Wood, David and Charles Everts. Both family men purchased the area of the Hilltop Farm. It is believed that David Everts built the homestead viewed today as a historical haunt, and his brother Charles moved into the original homestead just south of the current standard structure. Throughout the next 4 years, several purchases in the surrounding lands took place, which was not uncommon for that the time, though the Santa structures remained with the Everts brothers. By the year 1858, the Everts brothers sold their properties to Alfred Burton and moved to Iowa. In 1861, Alfred Burton's property was sold to George and Elizabeth Burton to a newly immigrated Irishman, Michael McMahon, wife Catherine Howard, and family. McMahon is a familiar name to current researchers of the Hinsdale farm haunted. The home itself sits on the road, which is the namesake of the family. Several generations of McMahons left the home until approximately 1971, when realty tycoon Donald M. Weiss purchased it. In review of the map from 1960, it can be noted that son of Michael McMahon, Dennis McMahon, owned the property, with both buildings still standing. As one could see, the smaller building seated just south of the farmhouse was vacant at the time, and speaking with historians from the area, it is guessed that it was burned down. At no time in history were either the farmhouse, surrounding barns, or their vacant home was belonging to Charles Everts and family used as an inn. This begins a fall down the rabbit hole. So that debunks the Everett story of the brothers that own the Hinsdale house. So the issue with that is that since the house was situated, the Everett property was situated in a different place in the Hinsdale area, which is kind of confusing to people these days who owns what and all that. And he continued reviewing the deed. Upon reviewing that 1853 map, he noted that Russell K. and Emily Lefevre were noted on the deed. Imagine my shock when I noticed that Russell K. and Louis L. Lefevre farm seated on Yardman Emerson Road in the Haskell Flats area, nowhere near the property of McMahon. This led him to the research of the Lefevre family. In 1832, John Lefevre settled into the area, building a hotel on what is present-day Haskell Road. Two of his nephews built farms as above, Emerson and Ardman Road. John Lefevre later sold the hotel to Ambrose Salisbury in 1844. Many Lefevre family members returned home to Reed in New York. Louis L. remained in the area until his death. L. Lefevre was adored by the community for his philanthropic life. The Edwards family moved into the Lefevre Arms, rented at first and purchased it later. The Emerson family currently resides on the properties today. The site of the Lefevre Ambrose Hotel is currently on Haskell Road in the town of Cuba, New York. At no time in history did any murders occur on location, nor did any Lefevres live on the hilltop farm. So there were no murders took place then, or anywhere in the Hinsdale house. So that's kind of debunked the issue with the murders that being reported there. Current Hinsdale farm owner Daniel Cleese released a publication recently titled Hinsdale House, An American Haunted. Dark Moon Press, 2016, where he co-authored with Professor Tim Joyce. In this publication, it states in the mid-19th century, Hinsdale not only was a logical place for a stagecoach stop due to its comparatively metropolitan size. Prior to 1844, the current stop for travelers within the Hinsdale area limits would have been the Norton House, owned by James B. Norton, later dubbed the Temperance Hotel, run by Julius and Nancy Edgar until the hotel burned in 1912, or they would have taken the Haskell Flats route, which was heavily advertised. Again, when speaking of this hilltop farm, Cleese George State, that inn was what came to be called the Hinsdale House, two names for the owners, Ian and Richard, because record keeping at the time was not as meticulous as it has grown to be today. The last name of these two very evil brothers remain unknown or in dispute. Ian and Richard were rapists and thieves, using the Hinsdale House as a spider web to attract their victims. The very worst thing a traveler could let these two miscreants see was that they were wealthy. A beautiful necklace or expensive watch could easily be a traveler's death warrant. Seeing those items on a guest signaled to these brothers that this was a person to rob, perhaps sexually assault, and dragged to the tree for hanging. The hilltop where the farmhouse famed farmhouse stands is very treacherous to reach, even with the safety of current vehicles. This was in no way a stagecoach stop. It would have been a feat to travel up the hill to begin with, let alone carrying rate. Also, records were extremely meticulous. Land law and deed law were the substance of all interaction following the Holland land contract. On the 1853 map of Hinsdale, New York, McMahon Road can be seen in its original form, leading down to what is Emerson Road as below. So you could see there was fibbing going on because there was no record of two brothers by those names. By 1867, McMahon Road had been terminated to a small dead-end road due to poor traveling conditions for locals, and the original trail leading to Emerson became what is currently known as Plank Road. Years later, Underwood Road was put into place, whereas the Plank Road leading to present-day McMahon Road. Stagecoach travel routes never ran over the hill. They ran from present-day New York Route 16 and beyond, and the present-day Haskell Road through the Haskell Flats Valley. The Lefevre Hotel currently stands on Haskell Road, Cuba, as stated above. And he's not going to share the address of that because of the ghost chasers causing havoc in their pursuit of the supernatural. So, important to note as a second time that no one was ever murdered at either hotel. This fabrication of history by the present owner of the Hinsdale farm property not only has no historical backing, but again is sanctioned the deed misinterpretation from the archive Dr. Father Alphonsus. He felt it necessary to pursue the Lefevre family because, as one of the brothers are on the deed fully, I feel that many are chasing the family as killer brothers, and in belief that the Lefevre Hotel and the farmhouse are one and the same. They are not. Dennis McMahon was deeded the Hinsdale farm property on February 3rd, 1912. On April 20th, 1912, he also was very briefly the owner of Edward Farm before deeding it to John McMahon. This succession of deed changes, as well as the easement, explained the discrepancy of the Lefevre Edward Farm deed. The Lefevre family was upset and loved by the early local communities. Moving further in history to the year 1942, to the Cleese George publication, Hinsdale House in American Haunted Dark Moon Press 2016, again quoted. As usual, number of accidental deaths and events of serious injury are also associated with the Hinsdale House, including the untimely and tragic death of 16-year-old Alfred Ward, who, while helping his father cut down the branch on the site in 1942, was struck in the head when the buzzsaw they were using to complete the task lagged, hurling the saw with immense force into his head, causing traumatic injury that snuffed out his life 3 hours later in the nearby Cuba Memorial Hospital. Alfred frequently makes his eternal youthful presence known to those who stay a while in the home, and look at the simple number of people who have died on property of unnatural causes over the course of its existence as a non-native location is statistically out of proportion to the standard statistical weight of danger on rural land. And so he did further look at the needs in that with the horrific tragedy or where anyone near the property owned by Cleese, the continued rumor of solid stains disheartens the Emerson family. They just finally put it to at rest and never be brought to light as historical research again. So the issue with the boy was that he wasn't killed on the Hinsdale property. The boy was with his father and grandfather, was Bezenwood near their farm home at Haskell Flats, town of Hinsdale, when the tree branch which they were sawing caught throwing the saw against the boy's head. So he wasn't anywhere near the Hinsdale house. So that rumor is dead. Another commentary on the above Cleese stories, quote, there have never been reports of unnatural deaths on the property of Hinsdale Farm. The closest issue was the murder of Danny J. Simpson by his brother, David A. Simpson. After an argument, David shot Danny at close range with a shotgun. Danny perished 1 hour later in the Hinsdale Farm and has been mentioned in a haunt of sorts. This is, again, an unfortunate mistake of one brother ended the life of another. Family is currently still in the area, and it is not only untasteful to speak of murdered Danny as a haunt, but it did not happen on the property, and it is often misinterpreted. Murder Sergeant Hinsdale. New York State Police, assisted by Controversial County Sheriff's Office, arrested David A. Simpson, 42, for murder in the second degree involved with the shooting death of his brother, who has been identified as Danny J. Simpson, 44, 3801. Oh, I won't mention the address. Town of Hinsdale, New York. The incident occurred approximately 9 to 10 p.m. June 4th at the victim's residence as a result of several disagreements that they were having during the course of the evening, and culminated with the discharge of a shotgun to the victim of close range. The perpetrator was arrested without incident by responding state troopers, and the weapon involved was secured. So that was another one that was a murder that never happened. There were rumors surrounding a tree which, until approximately 2009, grew on the corner of McMahon Road and Wagner Hill Road The current research by the present order states in his publication, Hinsdale House in American Haunting, that this tree was instrumental in ending an immense number of victims 190 years ago. The tree was notable due to a large branch that hung silently over the dirt of McMahon Road. What is lovingly dubbed the hanging tree or the tree of despair was not large enough in accordance to a dendrology study in 1865 as listed in current release research. To add in the year 1865, the McMahon family owned a Hinsdale homestead, and not only was there no Richard or Ian, the McMahon family were certainly not serial killers. This leads the author to believe that no one was hanged from this tree. These broad claims derive from misinterpretation done by famed psychic Alex Tanos on April 13, 1974, while on site aiding Father Alphonsus, which will bring us to 1974. It should also be stated that the remains of the tree are on private property that originally had to be posted due to consistent trespassing that was televised as well via cable TV and webisode format. The current owner of Fern has never been contacted for permission to enter. Thank you, Haley. So that is pretty much either the psychic a crack or he's a or he picked up spirits that came from other places to there. When the Danny family lived in the home, the matron of the family, Claire Danny, who now is known by her maiden name Miller, sought help with the unexplainable happenings in the home. It states the official Catholic rite of exorcism took place on April 13, 1974, and was conducted by Father Alphonsus. And what they said, the fathers of Catholic Church says many Catholic fathers said that they don't exorcism houses. Miller met with Father Alphonsus, a theology and religion professor and exorcist of St. Bonaventure University. He spent a great deal of time with the family and enlisted the help of noted psychic Alex Tanos while he was on a speaking engagement at St. Bonaventure University on April 13, 1974. Tanos, a film crew of New York NYU students and Father Trumbull ventured to the home to attempt to de-psych the property. As Alex wrote, many are stated that this was the fact an exorcism done by Father Trumbull. This is not true. Father Trumbull stated that one cannot exorcise a building, only a person. The Danny family agrees with these statements, and when speaking to the director of the footage taken day, it was again confirmed. Tanis wrote about his expedition to the Hinsdale Hill in his publication Beyond Coincidence. There is also a transcription of the recorded readily available from the Tanis Foundation, one currently by his niece and sister Alex. The description of more could be found at alextanis.org. Father Trumbull was no stranger to the study of darker avenues and paranormal research. He is noted as performing several exorcisms within his lifetime. in the surrounding areas. He did not perform one with the Danny family at the Hinsdale farm. The family will confirm this. The local newspaper headlines screamed with the spooky story and the hero fire, but in no time was an exorcism done on that property. The last point I could care to make is the subject of horrific car accident that the family experienced during their stay on the farm. Michael Dandy suffered a terrible injury upon losing control of his vehicle, driving towards the home on Wagner Hill Road. It was been rumored recently that family friend Randall Carr was the individual in the accident. This is not the case, and still being a local individual. I would imagine Randy doesn't appreciate being spoken about. I know he knows the Danny family has been left disgruntled over such recent claims. There is a plethora of avenues that the author could continue with, but he will end his piece here in hopes to combat the propagated garbage in the region that he deemed as beautiful. And he put in there in memory of Michael Dandy. So what I could probably think of what's going on. I'm probably thinking that Claire Dandy may have been may have that gifts that attracted them. I don't know if she had an experience after moving out, but there's something there that seems to be attracting all those spirits. Some that could be sounds negative, and others wanted to be heard. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean that there's demons in the house or anything. It could be some disgruntled spirits there that probably need to let know that that they need to cross over, and the elemental may have to give a gift or something too. And there's something inside that house that is attracting the spirits. You're welcome, Pearl. Yeah. I think we, as all of us, to investigate, to do research before investigation, to see what's the truth in these places are. Because I know a lot of people go running into these things looking for spirits, and then hearing these rumors about these this or that, and then you get thrown off to understand what's really there. Could there be a portal that's drawing the spirits into there, or is there something attracted the spirits to go there, like an object? And there's also the story about a young woman that hung herself on the property in a tree. that could be planted by the elemental spirit to protect the tree itself. Because people trying to uh, disturb the place, trespass, like do like what do you call filming pranks with it and all that, thinking it's fun, but yes, yeah, the truth needs to be told about the Hinsdale house and any other houses because you don't know going, what is there and what is not there. So, and this is how I was digging through, and I was digging for my research on this ever since. I'm not going to say his name. The other channel did the investigation there. Many of you know who I'm talking about. And yes, the truth needs to be out there. And I hope other investigators watch this, look at it, see, investigate into these things more, maybe look into it more open minded to see if there's possibly an item that's attracting, or the house attracting the spirits there and all that. And this is why we need the truth be out there. So I hope it helps clear everybody up what's about the place. Maybe it could help clear up other places too. Like look into and read the stories or look up the history. Because sometimes some of these people that owns these places is um exaggerated so that they could get quick money, you know? And and with the proper investigation of the Hinsdale house is probably in order. Any questions? If not, I guess it's open for panels. If anybody wants to join me and talk, and Pearl May, you're welcome. What you experienced there, it may be this disgruntled spirits and nothing more. And maybe you could probably ask questions why they're mad and all that. And make a peace offering and that. And so you be there to help them if they want to leave and all that. That's fine. Maybe they're angry that they're just stuck there, something trapping them there. That's another thing too to look at. But from what it is, White Pearl, that's what we should do. Go be more aware, be prepared, and with no misconceptions on what's there happening, because all this rumors and stat about that Hinsdale house is just rumors and may not be true. Okay. And you are welcome, Pearl. That's what I want to do, is to help others. And me helping you is one thing I like to do. And this may help other people too, to look deeper, look for the answers more, much better. But we're going to try to have it more factional instead of fiction. So yeah, that's what we should do. I think invoking the spirits the way other people did may have upset the spirits there. And this is why we should all do in the paranormal community and other places. to do research to understand what's true and what is false. Be more looking right, Pearl. We should be a little more respectful. Sometimes you could catch up if you're catch up and if you're sweet as honey. Pardon the pun, Pearl. I mean, be like polite to the spirits. See if that would help. And if you so show the kindness and all that, maybe they'll respond better too. Don't be like Jack Baggins on Ghost Adventures everywhere. Okay. Well, I guess since I'm down to two people watching, I guess this is the I'll call it for the night and do another live soon. And I'm gonna get back on this, doing these things more educational, get away from all the problem problem solves out there. And I would say thank you for everyone who showed up, support, give the shout out, love, peace. Click the like button. If you haven't joined, hit the smash the join button, subscribe button. Share this out to other people. You know, they may like to understand the story on background story of the Hinsdale House and all that. Stay safe. Remember to spread love. Don't hate. And we could grow together better this way. Thank you and have a good night.